The party is attacked by a group of ogres. They come in and they swinging, and the party has this hard fought battle, and you finally slay all the ogres. And as you're rummaging through their what they have on their bodies, you notice something glowing on the back of the leader. And you turn him over and you see on his back a series of runes and some symbols, and it looks like a map. Welcome to my channel. I focus on tabletop role-playing games, video games, and science fiction. So what do you do in the party? You've got this dead ogre there with something on his back. Well, the logical thing is you get out your knife and cut it off. But, you know, that may offend some of the party members, but that's up to you guys how you would handle that. But you've now got a treasure map. Now, this is one approach to introducing a treasure map into your campaign. For those of you who watch the, shall we say, not the greatest film, Waterworld, you know that there was the little girl had a map, tattoo on her back, which was a map. You can do just the same thing like I described. You have an ogre with glowing symbols on his back, which is actually a map. Map to what? That's a whole nother discussion. If you've ever watched some of the old Sinbad, yes, the old Sinbad the Sailor movies, there's the one where you have the great ship that actually has a map where you have to find the star. So you can do things like having your map not be a land map, but a star chart map. It's how you get to some place by following the stars. You can do that. You can have it where I've seen, I can't remember the name of the old movie, where there were pieces, metal pieces that you had. I think it might have actually been another Sinbad movie where you had to get all three pieces of the puzzle, and then when you held it up in front of a fire so that the light shone through it, it produced the shadow of this thing, produced the map that you could follow. These are all interesting puzzles and approaches to introducing maps to your party. It's much more interesting than we find a map case and we open it up and we roll out the map and we see what's there. No, make your maps interesting. If you're going to give the players a map, have them find it in unusual ways. You know, even if you're going to do a regular map on paper, you've defeated the wizard you've come into and you've captured his inner sanctum, his library, and there's books on the shelf, and of course you pull the books down and open them up and thumb through them, and as you're thumbing through, you notice a set of pages are all stuck together. So you try and unstick them, and it's very difficult, and you finally unstick them, and what's glued between the pages of there is a map. So now you have to, the party may not find it. Or if the party may drag the books back, decide if they're worth something or whatever, but you can have maps in a variety of different things. You can put them on creatures' backs. You can put them on creatures' skulls. If you've watched Westworld, remember there's the one where the guy, he actually scalps the one character, and there's the picture of the maze under his scalp, which asks a whole bunch of questions of how did it get there, and so on. But you can do a whole bunch of things like that your characters, as they search through things, they can run into maps. And the fun part about if you do the maps right, they don't know where the map starts. Because the creature that they killed that had the map on his back, it doesn't say start here and go to this point X. You don't know where the start of the map is. You have a whole bunch of things, and maybe there is no path. But you always assume that there's a path drawn on the map. No, 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 no. There's a set of symbols and a set of locations and where you want to get to. The only reason you would have a path is if you're trying to railroad your players to follow a certain way to get to something. But if they're powerful, high-level characters, they can always chart their own course and go there a different way. You tell them where they've got to go and where they're at. So make the adventure interesting and not predictable. You don't know what's there, but you now have a whole new plot line to get there. And you can find maps in a whole bunch of different places. You come upon a fire pit, and you're just, your party is going to stop the night, and there's this fire pit there. And then what happens is that as the fire burns down, the embers form an unusual pattern. The glowing embers fall into a pattern, revealing some sort of map. Now, this one is one where the players you can't take that one with you. You've got to draw it up. And it always makes it more interesting if you make it difficult to draw up. You show the players what it looks like, and the embers are dying out, and the players have to draw it before the embers fade. And if they don't draw it accurately, well, that gives them a bit of a problem. Maybe they'll build another fire, and let the embers, but maybe that will work, maybe that won't. It depends upon how much you're willing to make the party, shall we say, a bit frustrated, because they don't have complete knowledge. They're not just handed a full map and go, oh, here, you have to go there. That's sort of boring. Make your maps interesting. Make your maps, in unusual places, out of unusual things that they don't expect. So that now they find treasure maps. Now I got to talk about it. I'll put a link down in there. The picture that I did for the thumbnail for this. Actually, you can buy treasure map placemats on Amazon, and that's the interesting link. Some people said that they're good for their young boys or young girls who are into pirates. So it's just an interesting thing that the treasure map that's there is you can actually buy a treasure map on Amazon. But make your maps interesting. Don't make them just, oh, we find another piece of paper in a map case, or we find a map, or make it unusual. Make it, it's a tattoo. It's something carved into the symbols. Things that can only be found by doing certain things, like I said, the embers in a fire pit, and that makes the characters more intrigued. Because now, if you cut off the skin off the ogre and take it into the sage in town, and he looks at it and goes, oh, ogre skin, it's a little icky, isn't it? Well, and then you have to pay him to handle the ogre skin, and you don't know what, if you don't get it tanned, it will start to decay, it will get brittle. You have this whole problem with something that is a skin, because skins will dry and get brittle and crack, and they're not like leather unless you get them tanned. But if you get it tanned, will that preserve the map? Or you have a whole host of interesting problems with this. And then you can always do the truly interesting possibility of a map under a map. So what happens is you have a map that leads to someplace, but you make the map, what's on the map is maybe not completely accurate, and if anything is spilt on it or it gets wet from the rain, which you can set up, that the ink on the map runs, revealing another map underneath? This gives you a whole bunch of questions. They go, well, but we lost the previous map. But did we, or did we? Was it the correct map? Was it a false map? Is this now the correct map underneath? Was that painted over to hide the path? All of these can add interest and intrigue in your adventures. So what have you done with treasure maps? I'd like to hear your comments. Put them down in the comments below. And thank you for watching my video. I look forward to learning what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, press the thumbs up button. You can subscribe by clicking the link in the lower left. If you are interested, there are links to more content.